What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you not to move to another state with one of these Mayo mutants, but you did it anyway, and now your ass is out there homeless, living out of a car. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. So, as promised, I told you I was going to talk about this situation. I saw this on social media not 2 or 3 days ago. And I'll be damned, folks. You got this black woman here who admits, you know, that she was with an abominable Snow Brad, and he's from Alaska, so he is born and bred. He's 10 toes down in abominable Snow Brad. He's actually from a cold climate in Alaska. And this fool, this black divestor, bought this fool a car. She brought this fool a brand new car and then decided to move with him to Alaska. And then he got there with his family. They basically told him they don't like this N-word wench. And this fool kicked her to the curb. So now she has no place to live. All she has is that car. And she's living out of that car right now. Right? So, I told you before that, there's this fictional tale that a lot of these divestors tell where they make it seem as if when they get with these white men, that these white men are all rich and wealthy, and white boys just have money hanging out of their pockets, and they can spend it on a black woman, and that they're great providers and great protectors, and everything is all to the good in Swirltopia, right? That's the lie, and that's the myth that they all live by, and sad to say, a lot of them die by as well. But, they tell this lie and they spread this all over the internet. But then when you actually take a peek into some of these stories, you see that it's not true, right? And this situation right here kind of proves it, because you have a situation where, once again, a black woman is hurt. And once again, when women get hurt, they decide to go out there and try to expose other people. What they don't realize is that they're really making themselves look dumb in the process, right? So instead of keeping this to yourself or actually talking to someone who can actually help you, you spread it all over the internet thinking that, I guess, you're going to get sympathy points or people are going to commiserate with you. But really what you have are either people laughing at you, not taking you seriously, or, kind of wondering what in the hell is wrong with you. And I'm kind of in that last camp there. I'm wondering who raised you, right? I guess she talks about in her video that she was kind of abandoned by her family or whatever. She's from the Caribbean. She's not from here. But, we're going to get into it here. We're going to watch a little bit of what she has to say about, how this white boy abandoned her. And I want you to pay close attention to this situation and the events in this situation. It's very important because this pokes holes and torpedoes a lot of that nonsense that they put out there in the divestment community. So let's listen here what this black woman has to say about being left dusty and destitute by her Snow Brad Pookie. Let's listen.
Under my name for my husband, who has now abandoned me for his good-for-nothing family.
So yeah, I forgot to say that. That's a brand new Camaro that she bought for him. That's what he wanted, and whatever white Zaddy wants, white Zaddy gets. So if he wants some black tail, he can have that, and if he wants a brand new car, he can have that too. She had no problem footing the bill for white Zaddy, right? So, she didn't go buy him some washcloth so he can clean up or some delousing powder to get rid of the lice, but she went ahead and got him a brand new car. And now that's basically her home because she has nowhere to stay. So let's keep on listening.
This is the car that I'm stuck with. It's really nice. Today is officially day 1 of me being homeless here in Alaska. And so, yes, guys, I am officially
And she wants us to feel
homeless
Sorry about that. It started lagging a little bit. This World Star, they have crappy video players, but she wants us to feel bad for her for being in a situation, even though this is a situation she got herself in by being with this demon here. Okay? It's your fault. Now, I don't know who feels sympathy for her. I know I don't, but this is an important lesson for these divestors to learn. Let's keep on listening.
I'm currently here at this beautiful hotel here in Alaska. So it's not like I'm on the streets, but I'm still homeless because I am without a permanent, stable place to stay for right now. But I will figure it out like I've always had to do.
And you went to Alaska, a place where the weather is extreme. Okay, the weather conditions there are very extreme, and also the daylight there is very extreme. You know, and I'm sure it's probably like a summertime right now when she made this video, so it's not cold yet. But luckily for her, because otherwise her ass would really be in a jam. And she's out there freezing, turning her little brown skin into ice cubes. But this is a bad spot to be in anywhere, but the fact that you're in a place with such extreme weather changes and so much wildlife as well, you're in a precarious position. Let's listen some more.
I uprooted my whole entire life from Massachusetts to follow behind my husband, who has now abandoned me for his family. And so I am now out here alone, homeless, trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. Something happened with his mom yesterday. And long story short, she put hands on me. A lot of nasty things were said.
So now white male mama is whooping your ass too. So you thought because you were giving him some of that, black coochie, that was going to change his mind about his family. That was going to interfere with his white supremacist chip. Oh no. Oh no. My dear, you're finding out the hard way that Snow Brad's allegiance is to the Snow Clan. Okay, he has all his allegiance to the male mutant family that birthed him. It's not to you. Okay, doesn't matter how much round brown booty you pass to him. Doesn't matter what you're doing in bed. All types of dance hall tricks you learned in the Caribbean. That's not going to change his mind on what he wants or who he's going to be with. Especially when Mama calls. When Mama tells him, when the Mama Wolf calls him and howls at the moon and calls him, he's going to come running. Okay, because that's who birthed him. That's the literal bitch who birthed him. That's who he's gonna go run back to. All right. He's not concerned about being with you. Let's listen to some more.
Pretty much told me I was no longer welcome there at the house. Of course, Kennedy's still welcome because that's his family. So he stayed there. I begged him to come with me. I said, babe, we can figure this out. I hate when your family is in the middle of our affairs because it's like it's a recipe for disaster to have anyone really in the middle of a marriage. To have anyone involved in your relationship is a recipe for disaster. And since we've been here, his family has been all up in our business, all up in our Kool-Aid.
So she begged him. She begged Zaddy to come back with her. We can work this out. Don't you remember when I was bouncing on that little shrimp of yours, Zaddy? Don't you remember when I was bouncing this black booty on that shrimp? No, he doesn't remember that. Once again, when big white mama howls at the moon, that's who she's calling. She's calling her little brood of demons, and he had to go back to the cave. Okay, he's going back to dwell in the cave with his family, not with you. All right, doesn't matter. You just bought him a new car. He doesn't care about that. Okay, blood is stronger with him. Now, the Negro is the only one that's always willing to separate and to distance themselves from family and from other black people. These other groups are the ones that have a little bit more loyalty to each other. And he proved that because he went back to his family. Now, this dude must have been dusty too, by the way. I don't think he comes from a rich family, but let's listen a little bit more to her little sob story.
Between our marriage, saying that, whispering in his ears, and it's like there's no privacy. And so I said, look, Let's leave. Let's figure it out. Let's stay at a hotel for as long as we can. Get an Airbnb, something. Find us an apartment. But we don't need to depend on your family. We don't need to depend on your grandma. You've seen the way they've treated us, treated you. Like, let's just go. And he told me no. I said,
Grandma's like, I know good and damn well, boy, you ain't bringing this N-word in my house. I know good and damn well you're not bringing this N-word in my house and think we're going to allow you to breed with this inferior race. That's what Grandma told him. You know, and Grandma probably looked like the grandma from the Beverly Hillbillies or whatever, right? And she told him, you better not be bringing this N-word in my house, all right? And she's not even an American N-word. She's from the Caribbean somewhere. She's one of those island N-words. I'm sure that's how she talked. I'm pretty positive of that. They rather live in the house with dogs and bears and foxes than have a black person in their house. Let's listen a little bit more and then I'll cut it off because I don't feel like hearing too much more of her divestor babble and her little divestor tears.
so you're gonna choose your family, your good for nothing family at that. And, he's told me everything that his family has ever done to him. They abandoned him at an early age. He was forced to be on the streets at 14, 15, living from place to place, bouncing from place to place because his family gave up on him and abandoned him. And we bonded over that. Pretty much it was like trauma bonding because I also experienced similar situations with my family where I felt alone and I wasn't necessarily abandoned by my family, but I was abused a lot. And
okay, so she wasn't abandoned by her family, but she was quote unquote abused, whatever that might mean to her, right? So she was bonding with this devil when she came to America and met him. He was probably on drugs and living out on the street or whatever. She bonded with this dusty devil, not thinking what type of Brad that she was getting. And then she went back to meet his family. They said all hell to the no, kicked her to the curb. They said, take your weave, your wig, and that car, and you get out of here, Keisha, or whatever they probably came, whatever derogatory name they probably came up with for her, right? And they decided to, keep him there, and they're probably giving him a good talking to and telling him, you need to find yourself a good white woman. Here's your cousin. Here's your cousin. Why don't you marry her or be with her? You don't need to be with any of these N-words out here, right? So, I'm not going to play any more of this because it's more sob story. Some of these women, when they get online, they can talk for hours about who did this to them and whatever, right? It's always, woe was me, I did nothing. But the mistake you made, sister, is that you went and got yourself a Snow Brad, an Abominable Snow Brad from Alaska, and you found out the hard way that he doesn't give a damn about you. He has more allegiance to his family, even though they quote unquote did him wrong. They probably had to kick him to the curb because he was stealing money to go buy methamphetamines or whatever, or fentanyl or whatever, right? Taking grandma's fentanyl. But, they wanted to make sure that they put a check on him and making him understood what side, where the mayonnaise is buttered on his bread, right? They made sure that he needs to come back to white supremacy and not be out there messing around with some N-words from the jungles of the Caribbean, right? So, you folks can let me know how you feel about this in the comments section. I'm sure there are going to be some divestors out there who are upset that I'm reporting on this or try to make it seem like, well, she never claimed to be a divestor. I don't want to hear that. Don't do that, okay? Because you guys play very loose with that word. When the relationship is successful, then she's a divestor. When the relationship falls apart and it's obvious it falls apart or some knucklehead nonsense, then all of a sudden you want to come out here and say, well, she never claimed to be a divestor. Bullshit. Okay? I'm not going to let you get away with that one. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back on my foot on a devil's back.